Adeline is a survivor of a widespread blood fever that left many with strange side effects. Her black hair turned unnatural silver. That, plus the loss of her left eye due to the fever, makes her a stark contrast to her perfect sister Violet. They have a cruel father who resents Adeline for bringing him shame by being a Malfetto or a marked plague survivor. One day, Adeline overhears her father agreeing to sell her to a strange man as his mistress. That night, she attempts to run away, but her father catches up to her. In her anger, somehow she calls forth phantoms from the earth that move towards her father, projecting her deepest dark desires. The phantoms startle her father and he is accidentally killed. Adeline is arrested and will be executed. It is apparent that she is a young elite, a Malfetto with strong powers. When her execution date arrives, she is dragged to the square to be burned at the stake. The crowd cheers for her death, and the head inquisitor, Taryn, lights the fire under her. Her anger ignites, and the magic returns. Adeline realizes she has the power to create illusions. She makes locusts attack the people in the square, and then a boy shows up and slices through the inquisitors. He is called the Reaper, and he saves her. Enzo is the boy's name, and he is the leader of the Dagger Society, a group of young elites who seek out others like themselves before the Inquisition can. He also happens to be the Prince of Kendretta and the rightful heir to the throne. After he was marked by the fever, his sister took the throne, and her husband, a duke, became king. Enzo was banished from the palace. Taryn, the head inquisitor, is completely infatuated with the queen, Enzo's sister. She uses him to do her bidding, and he is helping her to stamp out the young elites. Only Taryn himself is a young elite. His power is that his body can heal itself, making him nearly invincible. Before the queen gained her title, she had convinced Taryn to pledge himself to rid the land of Malfettos for her. When Adeline is well, she meets the others in the Dagger Society and is tested with the gemstones. They find she is the first elite to strongly align with the Nightstone, suggesting that there is something dark inside of her. She begins slowly training with the other daggers, including Raphael, who is the nicest to her, to use and control her powers. She doesn't do well at first, but eventually she harnesses her powers when provoked with fear. The others are impressed and even intimidated. Adeline loves and thrives on their fear, the intimidation. Their hideout is at a brothel called the Fortunata Court. While there, she learns to fit in by hiding her hair and wearing a half mask to cover her eye, but eventually Taryn finds her. To her surprise, he does not arrest her, but rather tells her that he has captured her sister Violet. He promises not to harm her if Adeline will become a spy for him. He wants to know what the young elites are planning. She has no choice but to accept. The Dagger Society hasn't officially accepted her, so finding secrets to feed Taryn is difficult. One day, Adeline attends a horse race that one of the young elites is racing in. The Dagger Society is trying to win to get close to the king. The girl Gemma does win, but her title is stripped because she is a Malfetto. The crowd erupts at this decision, and as a show of force, Taryn is going to kill Gemma. Adeline decides to do something. She uses the anger in the crowd to fuel her energy and conjures images of cloaked young elites on the rooftops, causing chaos. Gemma gets away, but Enzo is unhappy with how reckless Adeline was. He also agrees to train her faster because he sees she has great potential. After that, the Daggers stop being so secretive with her. She trains with Enzo and befriends many of them. She gets very good at creating images that look real. Her guilt about being in her current situation changes her energy, and Raphael notices. Raphael tells Enzo that he believes Adeline could be dangerous when she realizes the full extent of her power. Raphael also notices that Enzo is attracted to Adeline, which could be very dangerous. Dante, another elite, does not trust her at all. The young elites cause a disturbance at a festival by setting fire to several boats. This is Adeline's first mission, and she does well creating illusions, but afterwards, as she is fleeing, Taryn finds her and makes threats against her sister again. Dante and Enzo come to her rescue, and Dante sees her talking with Taryn. He later, after Adeline and Enzo share a passionate kiss, warns Enzo that he should get rid of Adeline and that everyone only tolerates her. Enzo tells him that Adeline is nothing to him and to mind his own business. Dante implies that Enzo is only drawn to her because Adeline reminds him of a former sweetheart that is now dead. Unfortunately, Adeline overhears this conversation. Her devastation causes her to run away and to seek out Taryn. Dante finds her as she is sneaking out and accuses her of betraying them. They fight, and Adeline finds that she can make him imagine he is feeling pain. She takes it too far, and he dies. Meanwhile, back at the castle, Taryn kills the king at the queen's request. Adeline finds Taryn and demands to see her sister. When they've taken her to Violetta's cell, Adeline tries to cloak the two of them in invisibility, but she is having a hard time fighting Taryn off. Violetta is able to take Taryn's power away. It turns out she is a young elite as well. After they escape, Violetta explains that she is known for a long time. She kept Adeline's powers at bay to protect her from their father. She can also feel when other elites are near. Using the king's death as an excuse, Taryn and the Inquisition gather up and kill Malfetos. There is chaos on the streets. Taryn has a gathering to speak to the people and to try and draw Enzo out. Enzo is there, and when he sees that Taryn has captured Raphael, Enzo challenges Taryn to a duel the following morning. Adeline and Violetta catch up to the Dagger Society and they make a plan to save Raphael. Adeline doesn't tell them that she has killed Dante or that she has been reluctantly working with Taryn. Next day, everyone is in place and Enzo fights Taryn in the arena. The elites and their supporters engage in a fierce battle. Adeline and Violetta help, but Taryn wounds Adeline with a knife. In her confusion, she mentally attacks Taryn, only to find out it was Enzo. Taryn uses the distraction to stab and kill Enzo. Taryn thanks Adeline for her help, and then all the remaining elites escape the arena. Later, Adeline finds that she is no longer trusted by the Dagger Society. She comes clean and tells them the whole truth, but Raphael banishes her and Violetta from the group. Adeline's heartbreak turns to anger. She hates everything in her past except her sister, and even hates who she is. She chops off her hair. Her anger turns to a hard resolve, and she makes a plan to start a new society of her own. The Rose Society. Meanwhile, far away in Beltane, Mauve, the crown princess, and a young elite, learns of Enzo's death and of Adeline. She reveals that she wishes for control of Kendretta, but her plans will now have to change. She visits her brother, who she has brought back from the dead. No one knows that she has this ability, but her brother now has a dark power in him that only she can unleash. She is going to bring him to Kendretta.